I don't know if this is going to be a quick video or a long video, so whatever the amount of time the video says it is, that's what it is. So, I and some of my friends have noticed that Robert Wallace continues to fall down the QAnon alt-right rabbit hole, and most people, when confronted with, you're a QAnon believer, or you're alt-right now, or, you're conspiracy theorist conservative now, any labels you try to put on them, they'll disavow them. But there is an interconnected network of ideas that belongs to that crowd that are pretty intersectional. Like, if you know that somebody believes a few of these things, you can predict that they believe a few of the others. Now, it is something that Robert Wallace does have a few differences between himself and the rest of those alt-righters. He is an atheist, right? But there are many skeptics who fall into that category. Also, he personally does not like Trump. It's not a deal breaker that he just has this personality conflict with Trump. He's willing to vote Trump against Biden, but he personally finds Trump's personality off-putting. So there's two differences, but this is a response to Robert Wallace's video, Up Your Adverb, Propaganda War. With strange capitalization, punctuation, and grammar in the title. You'll have to click on the link yourself to see it. I'm going to pick just one of these interconnected things that people on that side of the fence believe that Robert Wallace uttered, and it's around the 9-minute mark. If you skip to his video, it's around 9 minutes in. Play it for another minute, and you'll hear it. Basically, he's saying that there's no way that Joe Biden got 7 million more votes than Donald Trump did when Joe Biden couldn't draw a crowd, and Donald Trump continuously draws crowds that are large. And my response to this is that it is a non sequitur. It does not follow. Your logic is flawed there. For one, in 2020, the election year, there was a global pandemic, and one side of the fence was not wearing masks as much as the other side. One side of the fence kept on thinking that the virus was a hoax perpetuated by the other side, right? So people were scared to leave their homes if they believed one ideology because they didn't want to get the Rona death. The others wantonly spread it amongst themselves, and yeah, R.I.P. Herman Cain. Trump's rallies have killed people. So this problem was not just a problem in the election run-up. It was also a problem in the primaries, where Bernie Sanders faced this dilemma of, do I want to concede before the primaries in Wisconsin? Because if I don't, then a lot of my followers are going to show up to the polling places and probably catch the coronavirus, and some of them are going to die. So he had this added pressure of, if I stay in this race, a couple more people are going to die. How many people dead is my pride worth, right? So the the coronavirus really, really affected politics in 2020. We will never know what would have happened had the coronavirus not been around. Possibly Trump would have been reelected because the economy still would have been chugging along on the trajectory that it was, doing fine. You know, fine as in people who only read metrics like the stock market thought that the economy was good, but there was, a lot less unemployment than there is at present after the market crash and whatnot and the shutdowns from the coronavirus. So you could postulate that maybe Trump would still be in office after January 20th had there been no coronavirus. I'll give you that. But to think that because Joe Biden didn't have large crowds, that means that he could not have gotten 7 million more votes than Trump is just not a logical conclusion that you can jump from that premise to. Okay? For instance, one could say, how could Trump have performed even as well as he did if pollsters calling people just could not find that many Trump supporters? Now, Robert Wallace says in his video, Trump supporters don't trust pollsters. They don't trust the phone. Or, I've even heard it put even more pejoratively that during the day when the pollsters are calling people's homes, all the Trump supporters are out working because they like to work for a living. That's all the people who are Biden supporters are wanting handouts, and they're all sitting at home anyway with nothing better to do than answer the phone. That's how I've heard it put, even more pejoratively than Robert Wallace puts it. But yeah, when you look at the polls, I think Trump performed even better than the polls said he would. And that's especially true way back in 2016. How did every poll have him losing and then he won? Now, he didn't have millions of more votes. It was, the Electoral College and all that. But still, the betting odds on him winning were not good in 2016. And yet he won. Crowd size. Every time I think about crowd size, I don't think about Joe Biden not inviting people in large numbers to come out to see him. I think of Donald Trump, having an inauguration in 2016, and then, having the aerial photos of his inauguration crowd compared to Barack Obama's, and then him saying, "Oh, we had the biggest crowd ever," and then that gets fact checked, and yeah, crowd size. It's an indicator of something, right? If you were to believe Trump, and Robert Wallace is, believing more and more of that line, you would think that maybe crowd size was an indicator of penis size or power. Maybe. But in the end, a whole bunch of people who were not feeling like participating in such crowds, they all sent in their mail-in ballots. Some of them actually did vote in person, but there was a trend, and Donald Trump created that trend. in so many ways, making the pandemic worse than it had to be by not, showing leadership when we needed it, and then, telling his own supporters to show up in person, don't mail it in, so that he could try to invalidate the mail-in votes later because, screw democracy. We need to invalidate a whole bunch of people's votes, right, in order to win. We're willing to do that now, right? No. God damn it. I'm so glad that yesterday was certification day, and the Electoral College reported things as they should, and we are one step closer to not having to deal with this guy on the daily. I want to see that football transfer. I mean, 2020 is not over, and it's not like I have aliens on my bingo card, but there's not much that's going to surprise me after this year. So, anyways, it doesn't mean anything that Biden didn't have large crowds as far as whether or not he should have won the election. That point, I can easily, in this 12 minutes that I've had, put to rest. If you're allowed to use that point, then I could say so many other things about Trump with polls and just make any conclusion I wanted, really. You know, um, God, yeah. There's a lot more in Robert's video. Um, I'm not going to touch. I think the call to arms is about the scariest thing in it, because it's an echo from his other videos, and I think maybe we need to all show him a little bit more love because I'm into this spirit of forgiveness and redemption, and if people don't want Trump to be what defines their politics anymore, I'm willing to let them have that space because it'd be easy to just condemn people as, being in the mold of Trump and QAnon and the alt-right and whatnot. But if people decide to leave those things, I'm ready and willing to see that happen without bashing them. Ready for a change.